Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to the videos. In this video we will be doing form 2 first term exam revision, and this video is mainly about chapter 3. Now chapter 3 actually has a lot of things, but I'll mainly go through on one thing that you guys learn in form 1, expansion. Now expansion is gonna be used for all the 6 years of your high school, so make sure you know the basics of it. Now how do we do expansion? Expansion basically means originally you have brackets, right? And then when you open up all the brackets are disappeared, then that is called expansion. So how do we do it? So the first b here, it will be multiplied by everything there, and of course we can't leave the -4. That -4 will also be multiplied by everything there. So that's a lot of things to do, right? So what we do, the easiest way is actually to do the rainbow method. I call it rainbow because of how I draw, but the thing is it doesn't look like rainbow much. So this b, I will multiply with both of them. I know if you follow the book method they will give you more steps, but then I prefer the drawing method. So this -4 also goes to both of them. Right, now when this blue part goes there, these arrows refers to multiply. So first of all, b times b, what do we get? B times b, we can get b square. We put a square on top and they are multiplying, and two of them, right? One here and one here, so two of them. And then you can't leave the other one, so b times +6, you get +6b. Now here please be very careful of your writing, don't mix up with 6 and b's. Alright, next part, -4 times b. -4 times b is -4b. Numbers goes with numbers, alright? And then the last part, -4 times 6. This one I will always suggest students to, if you're allowed to use calculators, please do it. Even if you're not, actually, negative and positive can become negative. And then 4 times 6, -24. All right, this is not yet done. Why is it not yet done? Because now we have something that are called like terms. Like term means when they have the same unknowns at the back, so they both have a single b. Yeah, so you can actually calculate this whole thing together. So +6 minus 4b. So you can click calculator or you can use your fingers. 6 minus 4, you will get the whole answer. B square, we did not do anything with it, just keep writing there. Just for this part, because we changed it to 2b, and then the last part also is not changing. All right, so that is your whole answer. Just the middle part, calculate it until here. Okay, right? Now the rest of the worksheet are actually very similar, but then I'm trying to record as many questions as we can. We do it together, and then it may get it as muscle memory for yourself. Oh, this one here. So what is the first step? The first step is always to draw the so-called rainbows, and then open up by multiplying each of them and check if there are any like terms. So let's see how we can do this. D can go here, D can also go here, and then the -5 will also go to both of them. Alright, the first part, D times D, what do we get? D times D, you can get D square. And then D times +6, you can get +6D. If you're done with the upper parts, now do the bottom parts. -5 times D. -5 times D is -5D. And then numbers, -5 times +6. You can click or you can just calculate in brain. And then what's the next step? The next step will be when you, because these are like terms, so like terms you need to calculate them. 6 minus 5. 6 minus 5 is 1, right? But we always say 1 is hidden, so we don't write the 1. 1 is always hidden. So if there's no number in front, that means it's 1. So 1D here. Cool, everything is fine, right? Chapter 3 is about opening up all these brackets. Chapter 4, you will be given this and then you go to make the brackets. That's called factorization. Alright, the opposite of expansion. So let's do one more easy ones. How do we draw? If I'm going too fast, of course you can always pause the video and then you do it and check the answer is also fine. Because sometimes you may feel like I'm rushing or like that. So draw it first and you do the calculation. D times D is D square. D times 5 is 5D. And then the bottom part's negative 7 times D, negative 7D. And the last part, negative 7 times 5, you get negative 35. And then what do we do next? We check if there are any like terms. Like term means they're having the same unknowns at the back, or either they don't have unknowns. Yeah. So if these are the like terms, you can click calculator. 5 minus 7, positive 5 minus 7, what do you get? From your calculator you should be able to get it as negative 2D minus 35. Be very careful, these are single D's, so you put single D's there. This was D square, so you also have the square there. Okay, good. Now next few questions, you have a square on top. Well, what does the word square even mean? Remember when we say what is a square? A square means a times a. Or even here when you have a d square, what does that mean? D square means d times d. See, that's what we did here. D times d, d square. So how about this thing? There's a something in a bracket and the whole bracket has a square on top. Alright, the square is not just for b or just for 3. It's for the whole bracket. So if this whole thing has a square, then this whole thing times this whole thing. Same for this part. So if that has a square, let me just erase from there. It will be that whole thing times the whole thing itself. So it will be b plus 3 bracket means multiply. And then they have a square. Square means just repeat it. After you have the two brackets, now it will look like that, right? So you can do the expansion, the normal way of expansion. So b times b, what do you get? B times b, we can get b square. And then b times 3, 3b. And same for the bottom part, 3 times b, 3b, and the last part 3 times 3, 9. And then what's the next step? The next step is to check the middle part, are they the same? Yes, so you add them up. It becomes b square plus 6b plus 9. Okay, now I want to test your intelligence. I want you to see if you can find anything special from here to there. This b square. This 3, it becomes 9. How 9? Well, the square will affect that somehow, right? So the square, how does it affect? 3 square. What does 3 square means? 3 square means 3 times 3, which is 9. So they are also related. Yeah? But we also have a 6b in the middle. How is there a 6b? How was 6b formed? Now check here. In before, they were all different in the middle, right? They were not exactly the same. But here, it's 3b here, it's 3b here. Both are actually the same. So that's why when we have a square, we can actually do it much quicker ways. Is there any quicker ways? Yes, there are, of course. So the quicker way is, if you have something as a square, you can use your identity, a square plus 2ab plus b square. Now let's continue checking this part again. A square, right? So b square. Next, b square. So you have 3 and 3 square. 3 square is 9. How about the middle one? It's 2 times the first and the second. A and b here means first and second. So 2 times both of them. So let's try. 2 times b times 3. So if we write that out, that will be 2 times b times 3. Because this is 2ab, right? So 2. A means the first part, b means the second part. The first part is b, the second part is 3. So 2 times 3 is 6. And then it will become 6b. 6b. Is it matching? Yes. But of course, if this way is too hard for you, just do the original method, is fine. Don't rush yourself into learning something new. Do anything that suits you. Alright, I will do the easier method, the original method first, and then I'll also do the quicker method. I'll do both of the methods and see whichever you like. Alright, so continue. Something square. Square means they are being repeated. How many times? Square, so it's 2 times. So I have e plus 2, e plus 2. And the next step is do the rainbow. Rainbow means you do the drawing. The e goes here, the e also goes to the t. And then we can't leave the things at the bottom. So the 2 goes here, the 2 also is so ugly. The 2 also go here. Actually, that was also very ugly. I know it doesn't matter much, but then it's just for my own reference. So continue. E times e becomes e square. E times 2 becomes 2e. Then continue. 2 times e becomes 2e. And the last part, 2 times 2, positive 2 times positive 2, 4. And then what's the next step? See if anything in the middle is common, is same, they're like terms. So they both have e, so you can add them up. 2e times 2e, you can get that as 4e. Alright, so this is the method that most students learn. Now, how about if I want to use the identity method? You can. Your first job is to identify which is A and which is B. A means the first part, B means the second part. And if it's plus there, you also have a plus there. Okay, continue. If I use that method, this is method 2. But it can only be used when there's a square out there, alright? So a square, that means the first thing square. The first thing is e. So it will equal e square plus 2. The first thing, the second thing, and then, so what's the first thing? E. What's the second thing? 2. And the last part is b square. B square means the second thing square. So the second thing is a 2. And then, can you click? 2 times 2 is 4. So both are actually the same in the end. They will still get the same answer. No matter you use method 1 or method 2, it's up to you. So let's do one more question quickly. So there's a square, so it means it is being repeated how many times? Yes, and if you think I'm going too quick, remember that you can always pause the video and then we try to understand it. So the first part, d times d, what do we get? D times d, you can get it as d square. And d times 3, 3d. This part I'm going to move a little quicker because I know you guys can do this much now. So 3 times 3 is 9. And then anything that they both have in the middle, 3 D's. Both of them have D's, so you can calculate them together. So it becomes D squares, 3 plus 3, 6D. Alright, now how about if I do the method 2? Because I want you guys to also learn that method, just in case you want, if you want to learn chapter 4, you need to know method 2. Method 2 is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So what is our a? A means the first part, d. What is our b? B means the second part, so 3. So it is, oopsies, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And then calculate the middle part. 2 times 3 is 6. And 3 square means 3 times 3, which is 9. And you will still get the same answer no matter which methods you do. So until this video, I'll only stop here. Of course, there's a lot of practices. We will continue so that you know all it. Until question 5, it's easy, but then you will have unknowns on both sides, so it doesn't matter, it's still the same method. So if you have time, you can just try to open up everything and do all the questions. Till next time, see you, tata, bye bye, Allah Hafiz.